That was really... Whoa. Now you just made me realize that people think I bash my wife because I'm an Australian.
I don't think... You were clearly...
I was gonna take her home after this session and beat her for not making a kickflip Indy. He didn't know that he got it from me. The first person to ever do a between the legs slow bear is fucking me. That's fucking me. And the first person to ever do it, make it look good, I did nose bone once and I did tail overturn once.
Yeah.
They're mine. I did them first. You can have it. You can have it. He said that I was a great broadcaster and all this shit. And then at the very end of the interview, he said, "What's that on your hat? Butt snorkeler or something." And I was like, "No, it's butt snorkeler." He's like, "What's butt snorkeler?" And I'm like, man.
I think we talked about this. Yes.
I had to tell him about eating ass. He did not enjoy that.
We're here.
Good. We're here. We're back.
Welcome.
I hope you didn't miss us too much. A lot of people talking a lot about how great the podcast is and our chemistry, our dynamics.
We have chemistry.
Apparently I'm better with you than I was by myself, and I don't know how to take that.
I'm glad I don't have anything to gauge mine on.
You've never been better. You're always good.
No, but I'm glad I didn't have a previous show if you're like, oh, dude, you're way better there, better here.
Right. Yeah, no one said that to me. Just everyone said, man, he really brings out the best in you. And I'm like, I think, thank you.
Yeah, sure. Let's just go with it.
Yeah.
We're here, so it's still going.
I'm excited to talk here. This is my favorite
We've done
job.
quite a few,
yeah.
And we're still going, and we're hoping to keep doing it, so keep listening.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Like and prescribe.
I'm so tired, and I'm so thirsty, and I'm so
Are we going to talk about that right now? That's what we're going to talk about?
It's demoralizing, but we could just touch on it. So I sweated out two t-shirts.
Like we need another. Okay.
You want to talk about it after we make it? You want to talk about triumphant stories? We have a sad story about how bad we are.
It's just
a bummer.
Yeah, but it's like
you knew it was a bummer beforehand,
right?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting a miracle.
It's humiliating.
It is humiliating.
Yeah.
There were good guys here today that could do that whenever they wanted to.
Did you notice they weren't doing it?
Yep.
So Jason and I came here with the intent on both relearning kickflip indies. I haven't done one in a few years.
I haven't done one in a decade.
And at least a decade. And what can I say? I got close in the beginning. He got close to the end, and we both ran out of steam. That's pretty much it.
We both got close, but we both got 0 cigars.
Like, I was getting close, you were not getting close.
Yeah.
And then I was getting tired, and you started getting close, and then we didn't do it.
Yeah.
We were skating with some of the world's best vert skaters that can do kickflip indies
very easily.
But
in respects to us,
they
left
weren't
that
doing
one
it
alone.
Yeah.
So like, man, that'd be really embarrassing because those two are like sweating profusely for over an hour now trying to make that one trick. If I was to just do one in the corner like it was absolutely nothing, they might take that the wrong way.
Yeah, okay. That was funny because that is just a staple of their routines.
I remember when it used to be a staple of mine.
Yeah.
Now, it's not.
Mine used to be varial flip.
Yeah.
I could do that pretty much all day.
Right. Me too.
Because it spins into your hand easier. It spins into your fingers instead of your thumb. Whatever. All right. So whatever. We have to take our L's.
Yeah, it's a bummer, but it's also when I have somebody who's not making it with me, who's legendary and
safety in numbers.
I don't know. I just don't feel that. I feel like, you know what?
I thought I would be much more devastated. And I'm like, I caught a few. I think I could do it. Come back.
See, that's how I saw it because I've got a week off. So I was like, dude, if you give it everything you've got right now, you're so burnt out, you can't skate for another couple of days. You can come back here all week to make one kickflip indie.
I've got to do stuff here tomorrow. So I that was in the back of my mind too.
I'll be here.
Tomorrow?
Tell me when you, fuck yeah, dude.
Okay.
I'm getting that thing before I go back to LA.
Well, no, I got to do other stuff. I can't be.
Yeah, don't mind me. I'll be over in the corner making that trick you can't
make. No way, man. It's team effort. You can't be doing it. You can't be going rogue.
Dude, I had a feeling when you couldn't make it, I was saying to myself, I'm like, look, love the guy. But if you don't make it and I do make it, I'm not going to have a fucking problem with that at all. So like all the things you've done, I'm like, if you have a bad day today, I know you'll be like, I didn't make a kickflip Indy, big deal. But Jace did, good for him. I'm like, he's going to be okay with this. I'm like, you do that. This is like victories. There's little victories in life. And here's one.
There were a couple that I saw at the end there. I was already up here because I was so burnt. And there were a couple that I saw you do. I was like, oh, he has it. That's it.
He had it, and then he had no legs.
Yeah, that was the last one I tried.
You could tell
my
too,
legs
right?
started to get, the last one I tried, my legs started to give out on the way up. I was like, that's a sign. It's not going to work now.
Yeah, now you're just playing with fire. You're like, do you want to get really hurt so you can't do it tomorrow?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a part of being older. I feel like, yes, you are older, and yes, you do get worn out, but you also have a thing where you think ahead way more. As a person who's OCD, like my daughter got, what is it when you get the doctor checks you out and diagnoses you with it?
Yes.
And he's explaining like the things that you have from it. And I'm like, oh, that's totally my fault. Like whatever you're being told, like that's me. And you can't see in the future until it's right in front of your face. Mm-hmm. So when you get older, you either die or you start to like fight back with those theories. Like, hey, I'll deal with it when it's right here in front of my face. No. I'll get ready for it.
Right.
Now I have where I'm like.
So is that something that you think you just learned through technique?
Yeah. It's learned through trial and error and so many fails and frustrations mistakes, that I stand back and go, what is the problem here?
Yeah.
And then I go see a therapist and he goes, here's a couple of your problems. And I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah. Man, note to self, think ahead sometimes. You know what I mean? Because I was always just like, I'm on fire, seat in my pants. People love that kind of guy. And I'm like, it's cool. But then there's tons of roadblocks where you should have thought about it for just a second.
Thought before action.
Yeah.
That was, I remember hearing Knoxville talk about that, how that was something he had to figure out in his life. And
when you get older.
Yeah, well, he had to figure it out just because his life was chaos, and he thought he didn't realize that, like, oh, maybe I should think about that before just trying to go for it.
Well,
or what are the consequences? What are the consequences?
Right, but if you're a guy or a girl that goes for it, like I'm going for it, I know a lot of those people, and a lot of those people are very successful.
Right,
they make it sometimes. Where I go, that's impossible, and you just did that without even thinking. You're a fucking madman, but you did it. And now I'm like, this is how you do stuff. You don't think. It's the role. What's his name that was here before when we got here? Owen Nieder.
Yeah.
Talking about a story about he was at the Mega Ramp. This is when the Mega Ramp was first built, and there was only Danny Way that had made it. I was the second person to make it, and you could get an invite if you were nowhere near as good as Danny, and you were an old friend of Danny's. So he got an invite, and my thing was to anybody that went there, you start doing this, looking down the roll-in. I go, hey. Don't look at that shit.
Just go, yeah.
And what do you mean? If you're going to go, fucking go. If you're not going to go, don't look down there. You're just going to make it worse for yourself. And I would always tell people, they lean over and I'm like, just go, dude. And they're like, what? I'm like, don't think, dude. Just go. That's how you make it down here. And he was telling that story. And he's like, you're a fucking maniac. You just walked over and said, go, don't think about it. I'm like, okay, you're making it sound like I'm a maniac, but I was actually trying to help you.
Yeah, but he should know it's skating, especially when you come from a ramp skating perspective and you see people learning how to drop in for the first time.
Right.
And if they sit there too long, they're not going to do it.
Right. Or if they do, they've already shocked themselves and then they fall in shock. So when you fall in shock, very similar to Lizzie Armanto, when you do something in shock, you're just along for the ride.
Yeah,
you're no longer steering your body in a correct fashion.
Yes, you're not in control.
Which is why
of the
vert
situation.
skating is so much gnarlier than a lot of street skating, because if you do it wrong, you wake up in an ambulance. And if you know that, it makes this simple thing, like we were talking about the sidewalk, walking on the sidewalk, make it a 100-foot cliff on either side. See how confident you walk down the sidewalk.
Right.
But that's what it is. Like in a backside air or in doing a mega ramp backside air, it's simple, but you're like, hey, if you do that, you can fuck up.
Yeah, I try to tell people if you have thought of a worst case scenario, that's what's going to play out.
Yeah,
if you've thought of it for yourself and you're like, oh man, I hope that doesn't happen, that's what's going to happen because you're creating that scenario.
Racing cars, racing bikes, eyes up. That's what pros tell you. You don't, if you wherever you look, that's where you go. If you're going into a rut and you look into the rut, you're going to fuck up in it. Like when your nose gets in there, you look up at where you're going to go. So you follow the line. Same as a car, same as in skateboarding. How many times I've done the, where your wheel hits the coping on the way in. People that don't know, if you do a really big aerial above the ramp and you come in, you've got to try and land in a ball so you can get tons of momentum. And if your wheel clips on here enough, it stays. And then you go without it head first to the flat. And it's
you're talking to this camera about it.
Somebody needs to, I don't know which one's got me, but fucking understand this. Because this is how I learned. Therapy taught me stuff where I was like, I already knew that. Skateboarding taught me that. You know,
but you weren't using it in your
in my life, right?
Yeah.
In skateboarding, many times I've done an aerial in the air where I'm like, I don't give a fuck where I'm about to land. I am making it, and I don't care. And it's gone, and I've gone, and I've just made it. And I've gone, and I've heard people on the deck going, oh, you should have died.
Yeah.
And then I've had other ones where I'm in the air and I'm like, oh, I'm going to lock up. And I go, don't lock up. And I try to do this last little jolt and put myself in a ball, and it goes, wham, and I lock up because I was trying to fight it. I feel like if you don't know that you believe you're going that way, you will go that way.
Yeah, for sure. That's the foresight. But I agree with you in that there are these lessons that being a skater will teach you. Like I struggled with a few things years ago and realized that if I can just use the discipline that I've learned in skateboarding and apply that to my life in other ways, that's what it takes.
All right.
And it's in some ways it was a simple switch. I mean, there were other things that had to progress to figure it out or to evolve and eventually get to a place. But definitely that was the moment where I was like, I have all these tools that I use skateboarding. Why can't I just use that in my life?
The gnarliest tools. Like you are the holder of all the gnarliest tools. I have referred to myself as I'm like, dude, you've done things nobody can do. You can get yourself out of this jam. And I'm just Jason Ellis. If I'm like Tony Hawk, I'm like, dude, apply your fucking skateboard skills to this thing and it will probably be the best version out there because I am one of the best versions of humans out there. Like you're an overachiever.
Yeah, I don't know if I was that lofty with it, but I definitely was just trying to redirect what I learned in skating and the determination really and the perseverance. And that was it. And it was just like, well, just keep doing that. Keep doing the things that you're proud of and doing it well. And then eventually that will be the new normal.
It is the perseverance. You're right. Because even just today, like nobody's watching us. Nobody cares. Exactly. We love that those guys are really good, but we don't care that they're better. Like I'm happy for everybody. There's no pressure here, but you're getting pissed and you're trying it over and over again. I barely even skateboard anymore. I've sweated out 3 t-shirts and I'm getting angry. At one point I kicked my skateboard into my wife.
Yeah, I did. I did see that. I watched it happen in slow-mo. I was like, oh, he's throwing, oh my God, it's going right at her. It's going to reach her.
If it was not
also, because those other guys don't really know you, that wasn't a good look.
That was really. Whoa! Now you just made me realize that people think I bash my wife because I'm an Australian.
I don't think you were clearly.
I was gonna take her home after this session and beat her for not making a kickflip Indy. That's what all those
It was
dudes.
very obvious that you were remorseful.
Okay.
But in that moment when you threw it towards her, I looked around like, I wonder if they think that's how things go.
No. Oh,
we should get her in here.
Oh, no.
We should get her in here.
I got to call all those guys and be like, hey, man, you guys need to know something.
No, like I said, it was obvious that you were regretful that you didn't mean to. But when it first happened, I was like, ooh.
Oh, no. When I said sorry, I grabbed my board. She was like, you fucking idiot.
That's perfect.
I was like, totally fair.
I forgot that happened.
Oh, man, I'm so thirsty. Hey, do you want to try and remember people are doing liquid death, how to open liquid death in a creative way?
I don't know.
You don't know about that?
No.
Liquid death are posting videos.
Oh, I saw someone doing it underwater.
Yeah.
I saw that.
We need to destroy them.
All right.
Like
Do it on a kickflip Indy.
Just
I can bail
give
one.
us a week. I'll have that video for you in 7 days. I'll look 10 years older, but you'll get that video.
We'll just swap it. Like I'll open one on your, we'll just get like cases of them and every attempt, like, man, damn it.
Just cases and cases.
We just got cases on the deck.
I'll just change t-shirts every 5 minutes. Just look like fuck. You got this one. Fuck. Hey everybody, Jason Ellis and Tony Hawk here talking to you about Athletic Greens. If you're a person that's on the go and you're in a hurry, you don't have time to eat. I don't know who. I mean, okay, I know a couple people that have like those prepared meals that they prepare for themselves in the morning, and then they have those every day, and they do like little supplements, and they never forget to do their burpees. I know like 3 of those people. Everybody else, like my man Tony Hawk over here, yes, is he an athlete? Yeah. But does he like sneak off and get Philly cheesesteaks whenever no one's looking? All the time, whenever he can. And I have children, and they eat way better food, as in not good for you, just tasty. Pizza and burgers and tacos are kind of like, you guys want French fries with that? Like, that's kind of how it goes for those guys. So, yeah, I eat that too. And with Athletic Greens, that kind of helps fill the gaps for people like, I would say all of us, except for these 3 people. I won't name them, but I do know somebody that they don't need Athletic Greens. Their whole life is, seriously, it's from even their sleep. They have the monitor and they go, oh, man, I got something realm sleep, so that's good. I'm like, this guy is the most boring human on the planet. But he is very, very fit. Athletic Greens is one tasty scoop, contains 75 minerals and vitamins and minerals, and is a whole food source ingredient. Wow, you could read better, Jason. Including multivitamin, multi-mineral, probiotic, green superfood blend, and more that work together to fill your nutritional gaps, like I was saying, in your diet. Increase energy, focus, aid with digestion, and supports health immune system, all without the need of taking a multivitamin product or pill, which is very, very handy, everybody. And this stuff really works, and it doesn't taste like dirt. I don't know how they did that, but they should use that. I'm gonna talk to them. Zero dirt.
That's the new tagline.
Yeah, zero dirt. AthleticGreens.com/Hawkwolf for your zero dirt greens beverage.
I don't think you're going to get a job with a marketing agency anytime soon.
I think this is the last job I'm ever going to have, Tony. It's just going downhill. I'm freaking.
All right.
I might go to a skateboard contest.
Let's make it count.
Anyway, go to AthleticGreens.com/Hawkwolf, and then you will get hooked up, everybody. And you get a free supply of vitamin D and 5 free trial packs today. And you get the vitamin D is very important. I didn't know this, but apparently that helps with your immune system as well. I am a clueless guy that eats potato chips and stuff. So AthleticGreens.com/Hawkwolf. Hey, everybody. Jason Ellis and Tony Hawk from Hawk vs. Wolf, greatest podcast of all time. That's why you're listening. Did you know that it's summertime, and in summertime, you can now go out and touch people and see people, go to restaurants, go to the beach, man, and all that kind of stuff? And why not have a summertime vibe with a summertime shirt? And that's where Faherty comes in. They make the perfect clothes for, that's right, summer. Faherty, we should both, you and I have never had a summertime vibe. You and I never just hang out at a barbecue with summer shirts on, Tony. What's going on there?
Well, that all changes today.
Wow, I can't wait for this insane summertime barbecue with the Birdman, where we just throw a couple of shrimps on the barbie. Why not? I don't even know.
We're on opposite coast right now. But we'll get on it when we get in the same place.
It's going to be a sick barbie, you guys.
Shrimp on the barbie. Sausage sizzle. See, I know what's up.
That's why you and I have got to get these shirts, because you can have a sausage sizzle and I'll throw a couple of shrimps on the barbie, and next thing you know, everyone's gathering around, and the summer shirts just set it off. Listen up, everybody. Oh wait, I should say thing. They guarantee quality stuff. They replace or fix clothes. Okay, so they get it. They give it all back if you don't like it. If there's something wrong with it, they'll take care of it. On top of it all, Faherty is giving all our show listeners 20% off, bruh. 20% off. I love these giant discounts that you should all check out. We would appreciate it. So stock up on your clothes for summer now. Head to fahertybrand.com and use the code. These guys finally get it. The code HAWK, as in Tony Hawk, as in way more power. And
oh wait, that's it? Just me?
They don't even. I don't even know why I'm saying words.
Yes, that's right.
Finally, you figured it out. Thank you, Faherty, for giving the correct code. So this is code. What to check out to snag 20% off all your summer gear. That's code HAWK at Faherty, FAHERTY brand.com.
I'll take that win
for 20% off. Thank you. I saw somebody slam doing a ledge trick, and the can hit the ground and a little bit of water was squirting out, and they drank it that way. And I was like, that was pretty good. But I don't know if you could do that twice.
No, I mean, it was not intentional.
I don't think so. It looked like he actually slammed.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe you could do a grind, and you could just open it while I'm holding it. Like you can come by and just go, and I'll be like, thanks, Tony Hawk.
All right, let's get on it.
Or you could just hit me with it.
And hope it opens.
Yeah. You said you got a case, right?
Is this how you're luring me into finally hitting you?
Yes.
This is it.
I mean, yeah, sure.
That was the bait.
One of these days, I'm going to get you to hit me in the face with something. That's what. Yeah.
It's like, no. We're doing this liquid death challenge. That's what it is. I don't want you to hit me. I got a better idea. Drop
the can and just punch me in the face. That's wild, right?
I'll tell you what. Open it with this hand, then punch.
What about I'll duct tape a can to my face and you try and open it and I'll move my head.
All right. Finally. Okay.
Liquid death are going to be pumped.
That's the compromise. We're going to get there. What was I going to talk about?
I had stuff written down for you today.
So I know we're a week out from this, but Olympics did happen. And the park event I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
A lot of drama, especially like in the women's, up to the last runs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And not to make us feel any better about ourselves, but they were cursed with kickflip indies.
Yeah, well, they're very difficult to do, Tony. I don't know if you know that.
Apparently.
That's a high-level move we're talking about.
Yes. And it came down to the last run.
None of them made a kickflip indie.
No, but it was, so for the last run, Sky Brown missed all of hers, and the last one she made hers. Right. That put her in third position. And then Masuno was the favorite, was probably going to win, missed something else on her other runs. I can't remember what. She kept missing stuff on her runs.
Yeah.
The last run, she was into her last 10 seconds of the run. Right. Kickflip Mendy.
Half flip, right?
Half flip, and then threw it under herself. And you could see, as her feet went on, you could just see everything ended right there for her.
Yeah. We've all been there.
Of course, yeah. But it was just a weird thing to have that be up at the last run, and that's the same trick across the board for everyone. And so, but it was awesome. And Sakura, I claimed it early on that she's probably going to win.
Yeah.
She did.
There you go.
Ollie 540. Dang, and a melon. She did Ollie 540 into a melon 540 for the win. Awesome.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Ollie 540 is.
It was cool.
I never did that.
And then the men's the dudes were flying. Oh, did you hear Jimmy's story just now?
Yeah.
Do you think he'll care if we talk about it? I don't think so.
No, it's fun. It's legendary.
So Jimmy Wilkins.
The greatest skateboarder alive today.
Yes, one of our
in my opinion.
One of our favorite skateboarders. Vert, one of the best vert skaters.
He does a trick that I did first. Sick.
Slob
he didn't know that he got it from me. The first person to ever do a between the legs slob air is fucking me. That's fucking me. And the first person to ever do it, make it look good, I did nose bone once and I did tail overturn once.
Yeah.
They're mine. I did them first. You can have it. But I made it first. And then this guy, in my opinion, who's the greatest skateboarder alive today, just today did one in front of me.
And didn't realize that you were the inspiration for it.
But he didn't. Then I notified him.
But, yeah. You were not shy about telling him.
Me shy about no. Yeah.
But so Jimmy, it's a great story.
It's a legendary story.
They were taking bets for the results.
Yeah.
Like you could go to Vegas and bet on who was going to win the skateboarding event,
right.
So, any event.
And they know they've got inside intel.
Apparently, and so you mean Jimmy does? Yeah. But who knows who's setting the odds? And they said Keegan Palmer was 20-1, and Jimmy saw Keegan a couple clips of him practicing, and he's like, Keegan's got it.
Yeah.
You're like kickflip body barrel 5.
If he made it right, he's
kickflip body barrel 5. He's got it all day. He drove to Vegas from
crazy.
here, 6-hour drive. Bet. What did he say? He said $2,000.
$2,000.
Right?
He tried to bet more, but they wouldn't let him. He almost made $100,000.
So he tried to bet more. They let him bet $2,000. Right. It was 20-1 odds.
He had to bet $1,000 twice because they wouldn't even
$1,000 twice. 20-1 odds. His betting actually brought the odds down because no one was really betting on the skateboarding event.
Right. Which is so crazy because that's a gold mine right there.
It's pretty amazing.
If you're a skateboarder, like NBA guys that really know, they can make real money out of it. Like Jimmy Wilkins really knows who's going to win.
Of course. And then Keegan won. Keegan Palmer, first place. And then
he drove to Vegas and
then Jimmy took a party bus to Vegas with all of his homies to collect.
What a guy. What a legend. What a great idea.
$40,000.
But just to include me in the party bus, you're such a goddamn great American, you know? Like, fuck yeah, Jimmy. Like, we're all going up here because of your amazingly great idea of grabbing yourself 40 G's out of an
He did, right? He collected already? Yeah. So great.
Like, a lot of us wouldn't drive to Vegas, even if we knew it was a sure thing. I'm like, driving to Vegas for a bet, you know? It's like a lot.
Yeah, that's a big risk for sure.
Like $2,000. I think I'd rather spend $2,000.
And there's also the thing where, I mean, definitely I'm with him. Like when I saw the practice, I was like, oh, that's it. I mean, Pedro's definitely going to be close to that. And who knows what happens with the judges.
Right. It wasn't a guaranteed victory.
Right. But I love that he just went for it.
So do I.
So great.
I think skateboarders making money out of skateboarding because you're too stupid to is good, because I don't know how much Jimmy Wilkins makes in his life, but I can tell you that it's not enough. You know?
Yeah, I mean that's the plight of the vert skater.
I know. I'm just
but anyway, I thought and you know what was really cool? The takeaway from the Olympics, if you saw any of the coverage, is everyone celebrating. Even if they didn't make the finals or they didn't do well, they were just so excited to be there, and they were high-fiving each other. And I mean, in the women's, like they were carrying Masugo, like all hoisting her up because they knew that she was probably going to be the best skater, and she didn't do well, and they still were just celebrating her.
Yeah,
like how cool is that?
Yeah, you know what? Because I just watched a little bit of I don't even know what it's called. I swear, the Olympics is so stupid. Sorry. Some parts are. So there's this one sport where gymnastic ladies, there's like 7 of them, and they all throw fucking hula hoops up in the air and these little wiggly flag sticks and shit all at the same time. So it's like 7 of them. They listen and they play the creepiest music ever. And there's no crowd. So now it's like 7 chicks, and it's like they're weird Russian chicks that have had no life, and they're like got real big teeth and big ears and weird skinny bodies that are like malnutrition because they're just like starving slave people, in my opinion. God. But the other teams, they've all got masks on, so everyone's got a mask on. There's no crowd. It's like this weird whoa. It'd be like what I would imagine hell would sound like. So it's hell while 7 chicks are flicking fucking flags up in the air and catching hula hoops. I'm like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. But then they get scored. If they lose, everybody starts bawling their eyes out, and the people that win start fucking celebrating.
Right.
And they don't say anything to Russia about not getting a medal. They're like, fuck you, Russia. None of you guys like each other at all. You fucking hate each other. Like it's such a literally, oh, and then the camera goes, and it's like, yeah. And I'm like, They're standing like 10 feet away from each other.
But that is supposedly the spirit of competition all throughout history, and especially in those established events. And I think that when people saw skateboarding, they saw a sense of camaraderie and community. Because
we're already friends. Everybody
so hyped, and everyone. Who they represent in the countries is incidental,
right?
Because you don't even think about anyone from what country they might be. It's just more like,
this is a skateboard contest where you're all saying to yourselves, we're fucking skateboarding for our country.
But also, like, isn't that crazy?
Right. No one's
same. Yeah, but the same thing where it's like Pedro and Keegan and then Corey Juno and like they're all homies. They all skate together.
Dude, it'd be like if they were like, okay, old man Olympics now, and it's like you and I'm skating for Australia, and you're skating for America. I'm like if you win, I'm like, fuck. You know what I mean? This bullshit. I just ruined everything.
There was one element. There was one element that I took away that was different. I thought too that if someone did skate and bailed or didn't skate to expectations, they would post on social media an apology to their countrymen.
Yeah.
So that was the most unique thing about the Olympics to me for skateboarding, because it's like I've never seen anyone apologize for their performance to their country before.
Yeah.
So that was interesting, weird. I mean, but I guess that's how.
I understand that. I feel like I've apologized for bad shows to my fans because I care about them so much.
Sure, but it wasn't the apology necessarily to their fans. Yes, by default, it was more to the country.
Right. Does that mean that they're apologizing to like the president of their country?
I don't know.
Like who is it directed
Maybe.
to?
I mean, I saw a few people do it, and I was just like, oh man, that's such a weird obligation they have. Or they think they have.
I think I was going to say they think they have.
Because maybe they think if they just like ducked out, they would be looked at as like, you're not. There's no accountability there, bro. You're not taking responsibility.
Right. It's kind of, I mean, it's unnecessary, but does show like you're pretty
respect.
Yeah, classy kind of a thing. Yep. You know, like hey,
I'm just saying it was the first time I ever saw that, and it was something that made me realize that this is the pressure of the Olympics, that you are representing a country.
What about that girl that didn't compete because she was all freaked out and how half of America got all mad at her for it? I'm like, have you guys ever?
Oh, Simone Biles? Yeah, I mean, it was absurd.
I just love how real athletes are like, man, I must be going through a lot. And then all you other couch potato fuck faces are like,
of course.
She hasn't got it in her. And I'm
always like
she doesn't have it in her, huh? Like she doesn't care about the country she hates. Like you guys, everybody really needs to look in the mirror, man. Like really try to.
There is such a tiny percentage of people that have ever felt that sort of pressure, and it's overwhelming, and it will ruin you.
I heard that she had like a thing where she was kind of dizzy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that too.
It's like skateboarding because it's different if you're dizzy in a thing where if you mess up, you don't get critically injured. She's in a sport where if you're dizzy, you can't do somersaults onto a wooden
That's the name
beam.
of the game. That's exactly what you need to be. Yeah, it's the only thing you need. Well, one of the main things you need to perform.
And
absolutely.
If you have a team of people that are just as good as you, and you're like, no, let me go out there dizzy
let me
snap my leg
Yeah.
and fucking get no medal.
Yeah.
Like, to get angry is like, you guys need to, like I said, really check yourself. Understand her. Understand how did she get there? Is it easy to get to the Olympics? Is it easy to be a gold medalist? It's pretty hard. It's probably the hardest thing you'd ever I would imagine it's probably impossible. But she got it and she did it. And then she doesn't want to compete. Why? Could it be valid? Do you think she has a valid reason? Yeah. I would lean without even knowing her.
Yeah, but also her track record.
Yeah, she's a gold medalist.
Yeah, but she's proven herself time and time again. So it's not like she got there and the pressure was too much. She's like, nah, I don't feel like it.
Yeah, like to be the best in the world, you've sacrificed so much, and now you're at the Olympics. Like if anything, she's probably crushed.
Yeah,
because she's like, God damn it, I've got this thing right now where I can't win, and all I've ever cared about is winning. And now I can't. Mm-hmm. And then I've got half the country going, fucking pussy, fucking backing out. I'm like, man.
Yeah, I know. That's just
you guys
so
are
insane.
bitches, man. Backing out.
But then she came back. She got
a bronze, right?
She did the balance beam, yeah.
I heard she got scored like a little unfairly because she's so mega. I don't know.
I don't know enough
about
totally
gymnastics.
possible.
There's some protests.
I feel that.
There's some Olympic protests going on from judging. You know that there was a karate or some sort of kickboxing thing that they have in the Olympics where the guy won by knockout and then was given, this is for the gold, was given the silver, and the guy that he knocked out was given the gold because the kick was a little too hard.
What? Really? Okay.
It's a fight. And the kick that landed was a little too aggressive, and he was disqualified for winning by knockout in a karate fight.
He was disqualified from that match, but he still got the silver.
Yeah, because this was whoever won and whoever lost was gold and silver.
Right.
And the guy that won.
Oh, I see. Yes. Okay.
With
I
a head
understand.
kick.
Yeah. Mm.
Was given silver.
I can't even pretend to know the rules of karate to know what that's all about, but that sounds strange.
Yeah, because you're right. I don't know the rules of karate either, but I was under the impression if it's a combat sport, it's like, man, you would have won the high air contest, but that aerial was pretty aggressive. So we're going to deduct.
It was too tweaked.
Yeah. You were like, look, your face
you
was.
pulled it up too high.
You said fuck after you made it or something. Like it just, so we're just taking it away from you. It's like, wait a minute, judge. Can you really do that? I saw you throw your pitch. You can fucking throw a baseball. Did you used to throw baseballs before when you were a kid?
Yes.
I was going to say, get the fuck out of here. He didn't Baba Booey at all. I was like, oh yeah, here he comes.
I've done it a few times now, so I at least know what to expect.
Wait, you've done the pitch at the Padre game?
Yeah, I did it about 5 years ago for the first time.
Have you ever fucked it up?
No, but I've come to understand that. So yesterday was kind of a different vibe, but the first time I did it, I was super nervous, and I've been practicing for days, and like.
Where do you practice? Did you go to
at home? Just measured out 60 feet.
Yeah.
And had either one of my kids or someone catch it for me.
Because you're such a Howard Stern fan, I feel like you were like,
dude, no, I was never going to Baba Booey that thing. Did you see 50 Cent?
Wait, did he?
Oh, yeah. It was funny, though, because 50 Cent was just as bad as Baba Booey's.
Wow.
But no one talks about 50 Cent because...
Too scared to.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yes.
I just didn't know. I would totally roast that guy.
But Baba Booey did it. He did it multiple times, blowing it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because he did it. He had that one, the super famous one.
Yeah. And
then he kept saying like, oh, that was a fluke. Like, I've got that. And so Jimmy Kimmel had him try to get a rebate on his show. He did the same thing.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, man. The joy for everybody on the Howard Stern show that he fucked up a second time.
I mean, it's just known as the Baba Booey. And like yesterday, so he's talking about the Padre game, and that was yesterday, last night.
A week ago,
yeah. And several people, when I was there, was like, bro, don't Baba Booey.
Right, which is the lamest thing someone needs to tell you before you pitch in front of people and you're not a pitcher.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is the first time I did it, I can tell when the catcher knows you're going to blow it because he goes to stand up as it's leaving.
To try and run to
hand.
get it where it's going.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so the very first time I did it, I saw him start to get up, but then he stayed.
So he was like,
he was ready
bad.
for me to blow it.
And
Yeah.
like, oh, he's going to get it back.
And then another time I did it.
So 3?
Yes.
Nice.
But the time before I did it, it was last year during COVID. And Bucky Lasik and I did it. And we got to catch for each other.
Oh.
So we both did it.
But you both
and then
caught.
They recorded it because all the games there was no crowd. So they could just use it anytime.
Oh, weird.
Is it weird?
Would it be easier?
But we didn't get a rebate. It wasn't like, oh man, you
One
blew
shot.
it, do it again. Yeah, one shot.
But is it easier with no crowd? Less pressure?
It felt like less pressure. And because it also felt like, well, we'll get another, we'll do it till it's right.
Right.
Like, no.
No, they were like,
doing it.
Yeah.
But
well,
last
I mean,
night,
isn't that part of the fun? It's like, hey, a celebrity that can't play baseball like the baseball players.
yeah, I think.
I mean, if you hit it on the nail, I guess that.
I mean,
crowd,
if you,
we half want you to fuck it up. You know that.
yeah, and
Like
if
everybody
if
in
you
the
don't
crowd
reach
goes-
the plate, then that's a big thing too. Like if you, if it's
Oh,
rolling
wow,
into
you
the
roll it over there.
yeah,
That's like a Larry King kind of a. Didn't he do it?
I don't know. I mean, all kinds of
died,
people
right?
have done it. Larry King died. Yes.
Yeah.
Did
you interview him? I mean, did he interview you?
Yes,
Nice.
a couple times.
I interviewed him. Isn't that weird?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
He
That's
came
awesome.
on my show.
Yeah, that's
couple times.
great.
He said that I was a great broadcaster and all this shit. And then at the very end of the interview, he said, "What's that on your hat? Butt snorkeler or something." And I was like, "No, it's butt snorkeler." He's like, "What's butt snorkeler?" And I'm like, man.
I think we talked about this. Yes.
I had to tell him about eating ass. He did not enjoy that. And I knew he wouldn't enjoy it, but I was like, man, I was like, okay, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
What's butt snorkel? And I was like, it's eating ass.
I love how it's like, don't ask questions that you don't want answers to.
Yeah. But I'm like, all my fans are listening and I'm like,
I've
you can't not tell him what butt snorkeler is.
Yeah.
He said I wasn't Jewish.
That's right. That's what I remember.
Am I in trouble for that? Yeah. He never came on again.
Yeah, well.
But he was great. He was a professional, gave me advice. And I wasn't even asking for it, but I hate it.
While you were on the show?
Yeah, because he was like, you're a young go-getting broadcaster. And I'm the broadcaster of broadcasters. And I believe, like you do, I see you skateboard and you talk to kids and shit. And it goes a long way. Like you're helping skateboarders. Tony Hawk talked to me, or Tony Hawk came over and said, "Hey man, like working on your backside." You're fucking 12. You're like, holy shit. He just fucking told me my backside was cool. You never forget it. I feel like he was doing the same thing because he could tell, I love skateboarding. But when I got into radio, I was like, if you're Howard Stern, I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Like he touches the microphone and turns to gold, and Larry King was before him and he was like, "You interview anybody, that's what and I'm like, oh, he's passing down shit, trying to pass down shit in the break. I'm like, Larry King trying to pass shit down to me. This is awesome. Yeah. I loved him for that.
He was every time I went on, he was super respectful, super cool. And that dude hustled. Like he's just always had a show. Right. Even if he's not on CNN anymore. He's doing this. Yeah. No, not that. Doing this over here, network. He's always had a studio, and then he took like a week or two off at one point and he gave it to Tom Green.
Yes, that's right.
Which was awesome.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Because that's somebody who respects his job so much that even if they don't do that well, they're doing it with such respect that you can't hate it.
Right.
Even though Tom did excellent. But I'm just saying, when Tom's like, okay, I am now in this historical, I need to rock for these 2 weeks in respects to the greatest broadcaster that ever lived. Like he's an excellent person for that.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
Not for Tom Green, I would imagine.
Tom, man, he's he went on this crazy road trip. He bought
yeah, I know. I follow him. Very confusing.
Okay.
Grew his hair out, befriended a dog and
and visiting ghost towns and at one point we were going to actually link up because he was coming through California and so we were going to meet up in Mammoth and
snowboard.
Yeah, to snowboard, but that was going to be the first time he was going to hang out with people.
Because he'd been doing the solo thing.
And COVID and, it was before vaccinations and so he was kind of freaked out like about seeing anyone. The timing didn't work for either of us at the end anyway. Like we kind of planned it, we made tentative plans and then it just didn't work out. Yeah. And then ever since he's just been doing the same thing. And now he bought a farm.
And he lives on a farm.
He's
embraced that life.
Yeah. In Canada.
By himself?
Yeah.
I know it's not the show for it, but how do you think his penis feels?
I don't know.
I know that, you go through transitions in your life, but I'm going to live on a farm by myself. I mean, I can maybe handle that.
I did ask him about that. I think he did a show with me. It was audio only while he was on the road. And I did bring up that subject.
Okay. And what'd he say?
And he's just like, I just
don't care anymore.
Kind of gotten used to being alone. And that's what, I don't know if that's what he's committed to, but for sure he had accepted that in that moment. So I don't know what I don't know what his status is now.
That's a weird, it's a weird conclusion to come to. He's not that old.
I don't think it's some ultimatum where he's just like, all right, this is my life now.
Wasn't like a mental scar.
But it wasn't that he was actively pursuing companionship.
Right. I always felt like when he was with Drew Barrymore that was like a scarring scenario for him. Like I feel like whenever I talked about that later on, he definitely got really nervous. Like there was some emotions attached to that.
Yeah, for sure. But also it's so public and people have their opinions and the tabloids, and just like I don't think he realized he was signing up for that.
Right. Who would know?
But Tom, he's just so, I love him because he's a pioneer. Like he just he put a studio in his house, and there were cameras on 24/7.
Yeah. Way before
anyone was doing anything like that, and didn't just ran it.
Dude, I remember 16 years ago, something like that, where he came on your show here upstairs, long time ago, where I was the co-host, and it was my first experience with somebody who was way better than me at being on a microphone.
Yeah.
And it intimidated the living shit out of me. And I remember not really saying that much because I was like, oh, this is how the big dog.
Like he's running it.
Yeah. Like I was like, I usually the show starts, you and Jesse and me, and I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna hit you with some fucking funny bombs because that's what my job is here. And then he sat down and I was like, I don't have any bombs. Like I have little pebbles to throw maybe, but he made me step up.
And I love how but he also worked the craft and decided he's gonna do stand-up and then just kept creating a routine until he really had an hour of material and he could go out on the road and do a tour. And
Steve did that too.
Yeah.
Both not traditional comedians.
Right. But devoted to learning. And I appreciate that.
In the comedy world, they both have respect by comedians, and that's not easy to achieve. Comedians don't like people that have already been something and then jump into comedy. It's like, oh, you're trying to come into our thing now. And it's like, look, dude, like I get the keep it real thing, but it's like if I really love comedy and I used to be a pro skateboarder or I was in Jackass, do you really have the entitlement to tell me I don't belong here? Like if I love it, it's like
it's not like he's taking jobs away from other people.
Dude, people do that with the MMA. When I was talking about fighting in Bellator, there were a few people who were like, you really think that's appropriate? I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, if they want me to fight, Lewis and I would sell tickets. If you're talking about the first fight on a Bellator undercard, would Lewis and I sell more tickets than whoever that is? Yeah. And we're both punching each other in the face.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But people would say, dude, that's a spot you could be taken away from a real athlete. I'm like, no, it's not. If anything, it brings more eyes to your event. And then next time you have an event, you got more money for more fighters.
And I agree, but that's just, everyone's got their own.
Right.
That's just how it is. It's always going to be like that.
But as from all the things in life, it's when someone has an opinion about that where you might be, not as hardcore as the other or as deserving as the other. This is your time around this planet. And if everybody else's opinions, they can fly everywhere if they want to, but it's your life. Oh man, it's not really your spot. Fuck you. Fuck you, dude, girl, whatever. I'm here to experience life. You don't want me in that spot? Fucking take it from me because I'm using it. I'm going everywhere I want to go. Oh, that's really not that appropriate. Fuck you. This is your one shot around. People's opinions are fucking pointless. Like if you start altering your life because somebody else is like, hey man,
you'll never. Cool. But also you will never really get anywhere.
Look at us getting places. Don't listen to those.
But absolutely. People. I mean, I had learned that way early on, especially in skating, where I had people talking shit about my style and that it's lame and he's robotic and it sucks and I just enjoyed it too much. And I also had enough support from my friends and people I skated with that were more leaning that way with tricks and whatever. And so I was just like, I don't know, this is cool. But it did in that moment it felt impossible.
Really?
It's just impossible to be accepted, to break through that. It wasn't like that was the goal, but for sure there were times where it was just discouraging. I mean, I'd see people talking shit about me in their interviews in Thrasher.
Right.
Well-respected professional skaters.
Let me ask you this. Danny Way had a skateboard model, Tony Dork, was it? Or something where they had a board, your graphic, but they made like a dick nose on it?
That was Jason Lee.
Oh, okay.
They offered it to Danny and Danny didn't want it. So they had Jason Lee do it.
And how were you with all that? because they were the hottest company out at the time. And
Blind,
I was
yeah. I don't know. I
was stabbing at the Birdman. What is that?
I was
like when you and Jason were. Did you guys?
Not at all. Like the funny thing about that is that Jason used to come stay at my house in Fallbrook. He and Christian Jacobs would come down and spend a weekend or even a week hanging out. And then they did that, but that was their job. I knew Mark Gonzalez. Obviously I knew Jason and I knew Danny, and that was their job at Powell.
Okay.
It wasn't about
that's how you saw that?
Me. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. And of course, if they're going to use a Powell graphic, they're going to use mine.
Right.
Because mine was the most popular at the time. Right. And so, I mean, I actually thought the what was it, the Ray Bones with the banana? Like,
yeah,
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And yeah, mine was a little more phallic.
Yeah.
But whatever. Like the bummer was that
I was just wondering if there was any bummer to that. Like, did you take that?
I think the bummer was just more that I was on the receiving end by default because I was on Powell.
Right. Okay.
And I couldn't see through the trees that like maybe I should move on. You know, it wasn't that Powell was lame. It was just more that we had been there for so long and they had become the established brand and we all needed to change.
Right. Everybody wanted to shift.
Yeah. And they needed a fresh crew.
Skateboarding was definitely like trying to do a 180 at that time.
Right. And like Powell needed a fresh team. Yeah. We needed to figure out what we were going to do. Like what's the next stage of being a pro skater in that moment, because the era of vert skating was dead. Uh-huh. The Bones Brigade thing was kind of dwindling. And me, Cab, Lance, Tommy, Mike, we're all like, what do we do?
Right.
But I was still on Powell, and I was still thinking that was my career. And so then these guys who I'm friends with, who are the most progressive skaters at the time, are making fun of us. It's like, dude.
Yeah, as a vert guy, I was like, man, I'm not even famous enough to be on the list of being an asshole. But I was like, wait. Because I met Jason Lee. Gons came to Australia with Jason Lee before anybody knew who Jason Lee was. He was the guy in the parking lot doing tray flips before anybody did a tray flip. And Gons was like, trust me, this dude is hot shit. And I was in the parking lot going, is that flipping while it's spinning?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. I'm like, can you do that again, mate? You know what I mean? And I'm like, it's a pretty cool little trick you do there, dude. Like, yeah. But I thought, this insignificant asshole is nothing to me. Like, he gets on the vert ramp, the guy can barely do a fucking backslide here. I'm like, this guy's never going to make it. And then like a year later, he's Jason Lee. And I'm like, wow, Gons really knew about that guy before me because he was pumped on him so much. And I'm like, I don't get it.
They were so amazing. Like that blind video, that was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. I also, being a vert dude, but I still thought Jason Lee was pretty sick. Because he had a sick style. You know? And
I just knew, like, I knew him. I knew Christian Jacobs, who did this graphic right here and the one above it that you can't see on the camera probably, but and was the creator of Yo Gabba Gabba.
Oh, shit.
And he and Jason were just so creative. Like, I was fascinated by them, not just for skating, but everything. Hanging out, listening to them talk and ideas they had. And it was just like, why aren't you guys... I mean, they both went on, obviously, to be what they should have been. What they had talent coming out of their fucking ears, for sure. Right. But in those moments, and also skating was taking a dive, and we were just trying to make ends meet and hanging out. I remember Jason, Christian Jacobs, and I did a fake talk show at my house in Fallbrook. Through the night,
recorded, just a fake one.
Yeah, we recorded it. Oh,
it
exists somewhere.
Where is that?
I have it.
Oh.
And
you just do an episode instead of a Wolf versus Wolf, just do that.
I was the host, and Christian was my sidekick, and then Christian Jacobs.
Oh, I was gonna say, fucking
Christian Jacobs is also the lead singer and head of the Aquabats, the band.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah. So we made this fake talk show. Just we were trying to do something funny, and we were bored and whatever, and then Jason Lee was a professional wrestler. And then he comes in this wrestling outfit, and we're interviewing. It was so ridiculous, but I just remember like,
that sounds so good.
Yeah, but it was just, we were just trying anything because we were mostly bored, but we had to do something.
Right. I feel like that's real. Like when you're that full of creative beans, when you can't skateboard and you're in your house, it doesn't turn off. Like I think that in my childhood, I was more bored when I was bored than any other child that was bored.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like my idea of like, people were like, this is going off and that going off. And I'm like, boring. I mean, I needed real shit to go off.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my friends.
Stimulation. Yes.
Which helps.
Yeah. And for sure, through those years, especially that, not long after that, I started Birdhouse and had my own business and was hustling nonstop.
Right.
And that filled my time.
Right. So you're making that and skateboard tricks.
Yeah.
And family.
Right. And raising a child. And so, but like you said, in those other moments where things were slow, we're just trying to do something.
Right.
I mean, we were content creators, but for no audience.
I feel like I'm on the radio and it was like, doing things. And they're like, what about if you have your own show? And I'm like, yeah, I will totally have my own show. And then as soon as the show started, I was like, let's go film some stuff and make, I was already doing videos of things. They failed, but I was still, my skateboard brain was just passing through radio. I was like, oh, we're in radio. Now you got a spot. I'm like, what we should do? We could do this. We could do that. What about if we film this? You know what? We could get eaten by a snake. No one will get eaten by a snake. I've skateboarded, dude. Being eaten by a snake is not that big of a deal. Give me the snake. Go ahead, bite me. Like
it's funny how all that stuff, and you're just throwing everything against the wall, see what sticks. But you do learn to sort of refine all of it to get to a place where it is better content consistently and more interesting.
Right. Because trial and error, you figure out, okay, note to self.
But I mean, when we had Shred or Die, the website.
Yes, that was awesome.
We were just going for anything.
Wasn't that pretty big? Will Ferrell videos and shit?
Well, that was Funny or Die.
Oh.
So here's the journey of how Ride Channel came to be was we were starting to do videos here and we were like, we should start a website for videos. Yeah. And it was right when YouTube kind of started. Yeah. So YouTube was more like the elephant in the room of, well, if we're not on YouTube, are we anything?
Right.
But let's try. So we started, we started doing stuff. I can't remember what it was called. It wasn't Shred or Die, but then we pitched the people who started Funny or Die because they wanted to do a bunch of channels.
And then they put you on.
So Funny or Die was a big hit right away because of Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
And then they went Shred or Die. And then they were like Eat or Die. So they started a cooking channel. And then I can't remember. There were maybe 6 or 7 different channels.
Yeah.
And then ours did okay. But we just knew if we weren't on YouTube, we're not going to get the views.
Okay.
So then we heard Google was going to, I know I'm going down the rabbit hole, but this is, I thought it was an interesting story.
Yeah, I like it.
We heard Google was going to start funding channels.
Yeah.
In the same way that Funny or Die was, where it was actual certain topics or certain themes.
Yeah.
And they were going to start funding different creators.
So you pitched
and we caught wind of that. So Jared, who is here, runs 900 Films.
Yeah.
He and I flew to Google in San Francisco, outside San Francisco, and it just pitched it.
And they were like,
and we said, we have all this content that Shred or Die, we can relabel it and call it Ride Channel, but we also have access to all these other skaters and creators and people who are making stuff, and we can do all kinds of shows. And so they funded us for 2 years.
Good.
Yeah, it was great. That's why we have all that Ride Channel stuff.
Was that a good business plan, that whole thing?
Well, it was they funded us for 1 year. And we had a big budget, but we had to spend it. And we had to prove to them we were spending it.
Cool,
but we had to have 30 clips a week.
Oh.
It got crazy. It was just nonstop here. And we're just trying
that. Just Jared?
We had a few different people. We actually hired other people to do it.
Hell, that's a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And also it's all these different people, we got to get to the East Coast. We got to do this. We need to do shoe reviews and we need to do this and we need to and it was all coming from here.
I'm already out of your business. I don't
it was
like that.
It was heavy, and we had to prove to them we were spending the money. It wasn't just like, hey, we got all this money.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean,
a few videos.
It's not a bad business plan to make you show the money.
It was cool. And then after the first year, all these other channels that they're funding weren't getting the views, and they just fell off.
Okay.
And we made it through the cut of the first year.
Okay.
So then we got funded for a second year.
Okay. Is that a bigger budget?
No.
Oh, okay.
But still
solid,
good budget, and still a lot of expectation. So then Ride Channel went on for a second year, and we were doing lots of collaborations, and we were doing, we did the stuff with Mini, and we did the stuff with Sony, and so my videos, like those collabs, were getting a lot of views, and that was justifying them doing all this. And then after the second year, Google was like, we're not doing any of that stuff anymore.
And
so we still have Ride Channel on YouTube, and sometimes we use it to put out stuff, but no one's funding it.
Okay. But it still exists now.
Still exists, and still got, I think there's 1 million subscribers or something. So it's still like,
okay, that's not a bad thing.
It's good. Maybe I might be projecting. Are you looking it up right now?
No, I'm looking. I have a question for you about this 4-year-old kid jumping steps that you posted.
Yeah.
What's up with this kid? Where's he from? And how do you get footage of these people?
I saw that video go floating around, and I was like, that's awesome. There's just certain things that I see sometimes where I'm like, that's awesome. I want to share that with my audience, because I know that it's not just skateboarders that follow me.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff that happens in the skate world where it's just like a clip goes viral into the skate world, but I feel like it transcends just skating.
Right.
And so with that one, that 4-year-old kid, I was like, this is awesome. Anyone's going to love this.
Right.
Even though there's an element that I know there's going to be a backlash where it's just like, that kid's too, they're forcing him. There's always that. Well, once a video, this is what I've learned. Once a video goes viral, gets big like that, there's just this other element and this audience of people that they just love to hate.
Yeah.
And they love to accuse. And then once it reaches that level, it's like, oh, here it comes.
Okay, you know what? I actually have an experience with that since I left Sirius. My YouTube channel went up a ridiculous amount. So did my Instagram. Apparently, I'm back on the map, which is cool. So it was good to know that I just did 15 years of being in the dark somehow.
Welcome back.
Now, all of a sudden, the internet's like, hey, man, we're cool with you now. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? I've been doing this for 15 years. And now,
embrace it.
As long as we're cool now, that's the main thing. What was I going to say? Damn it.
But with people the haters that
so I did this video. Now that the thing's gone big, one of my fights at Ellis Mania, the stripper fight, all of a sudden it's got like 30 million views. I'm like, what? 30 million views? And my co-host Kevin's like, yeah, man, I don't know what's going on, but it's moved to that. And then there's another video where all of a sudden you've gone viral a little bit, and the opinions of that $30 million video. A lot of people really hate me for being there and those girls taking their clothes off. And I'm like, there's several stripper fights that have happened, but the one that's gone viral, everyone hates me on it.
Because suddenly it's on the radar of people that aren't interested in that in the first place, but decide that, oh, this is my cause celeb. Like, this is what I need to give my harshest opinion on this.
Yeah. And a little bit scary.
But I noticed that it's weird.
Like a lot of people grouping up to say you're a really bad person. I'm like, man, I'm getting out of here. I don't like that. I don't want to click on that ever again. A lot of people don't know me, and they're very mad that I allowed. They're like, you're just letting her punch her. And I'm like, it's a boxing fight.
Right.
Like maybe you just jumped on the internet.
Oh yeah. You're never going to, but that's the other thing is you're never going to change their opinion.
No.
So you can't fight it.
Oh no, I would never say anything back.
But that's the other thing is that I think that some people fall into the trap where something goes viral like that, and then they see the negative attention it gets, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna fight everyone about this," and it's just like, no, dude, that's not the way to do it.
If you've been in the game for a little bit, you know, probably from learning the hard way, that when everybody gets mad at you for posting something, don't post back. Don't say
it will never go well.
This is the thing like I understand that you're saying I'm wrong, but here's the thing why you're wrong. Don't do that.
Nope.
See, somebody it's so far away from touching that it's like even myself that is like one of those people like, blah, 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 bark at you, bark at me, I'll bark back.
Yeah.
it's happened so badly so many times for me that, Stern Show is probably the biggest one. Whenever I did the Stern Show, people would say really mean shit afterwards because you're fucking.
But that's the whole thing, is that because you've reached an orbit, or it's outside of your orbit of people that don't know anything about you, and they just love to talk shit.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, here we go.
They also they really want you to say something so that they can say something back again. So you kind of. You taught me once. Dude, I never forgot it. This is like one where my dad said to me once about cigarette smoking. You suck it in, you blow it out, it kills you. What's the point? And I was just in a pocket where I was like, totally. I totally get that. Never smoked cigarettes in all my drug life. Yeah, I smoked some cigarettes before and I'm high, but I never was like, yeah, man, love me some cigarettes. Right. They're stupid.
Right.
Same as when you said one time a girl had my number on tour and she was texting me saying crazy stuff, and you were at some weird restaurant on the East Coast somewhere, everyone eating, and you leaned over and you're like, yeah, I wouldn't respond to that. And I'm like, really? Yeah, man. Like, if you don't respond, sooner or later, it's just going to disappear. Like, you respond, it's going to be there forever. And I was like, yeah, I'll try that. And I didn't respond, and she stopped texting me, and I was like, this guy's got it figured out. And that one sunk, you know what I mean? There's certain people there that are like, you haven't called me back. And I'm like, not saying why I'm not calling you back. I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Until you figure out, I'm just not calling you back. Instead of going, look, I'm not calling you back because you're fucking annoying the shit out of me. Like, don't do that.
No.
Just say, meh. So that's what I do. Thank you.
And again, I think there's other people that that if you're going to engage with them, it will be endless. Yeah. And it won't be positive.
Crazy fans. Crazy people.
Unstable.
Right.
And when you recognize the instability, it's a gift. Because it's like, oh, I get it. I should not engage there.
Right. For me, for fans, when they say crazy stuff like that, I will go as far as, hey, man, I don't think I'm the best guy to ask for help. I think that a professional is what you're looking for. Yeah. For me to fix myself, I went and saw a professional and got professional help. I think asking a guy that you like on Instagram is probably a bad move. And that usually helps people.
Yeah, well, just that you took the time to reply is important.
I don't want to say it on here, but fuck it. I reply to everybody unless you are a moron. And I'm like, I'm not going to say you're a moron. I just don't reply. But if it's like hey, man, I've been worried about this, or how do I do this? Or my grandson wants a skateboard. How do I get a skateboard? I'm like, I'll tell you. Just go skate shop. Takes me 5 seconds. Like, go skate shop. Ask the skate guy. Like, it's not all a scam. Like, if you go there, they'll take care of you. Yes. Oh, I don't live anywhere near a skate shop. You can use the internet. They have skateboards there too.
Well, that's cool.
I've always made that effort because I'm small time, and I feel like small time guys.
Oh, it goes a long way, of course.
Yeah, like I remember Ellis, where especially when you're punchy and you've hit your head as much as I have. Sometimes people go, "Hey, man, remember me?" And I go, no, and they go,
"No, that's hard.
You were fucking really nice to my son, or you," and I'm like, thank God you were that guy that day, because I don't want to hear it's like, yeah, man, I try to say what's up. And you're like, fuck off. I don't have time. I'm like, no, I never said that.
I used to have a pretty, my approach to, especially when we would do demos and stuff, my whole approach was it's all or nothing. Like if I'm going to sign autographs, I'm going to commit to signing autographs the whole time or not do any. And I've kind of changed that mode because that was just too much. Like that, you just come off like such, you're just so arrogant.
Right.
And they don't get it. But also I didn't like to leave anyone hanging. So it's like either no one gets autographs and photos or everyone does, and I'm going to be here for the next 2 to 3 hours.
Right. That's the thing people don't realize. I've been around you. Like if someone goes, hey man, sign my shirt, and you go, yes, that tells the whole crowd. And sometimes he does demos in like, 50,000.
I still do that. If I'm skating, I won't sign stuff.
Right.
Because if I'm skating, that'll stop the demo. Yeah.
Right.
But I have eased up my whole theory or ultimatum that somehow I can't only do this or this. It's more like, you're here, cool, let's do it. Yeah, all right, no worries. And
but you have a thing in you where you go, okay,
I've just gotten better at navigating crowds too.
So if you do like a patch, you'll be like, okay,
there'll be patch here, and I know that other people are far enough away or are not going to take notice that I can get
so
this
crazy to know that if you start over here, this whole thing might come over and be like, hey.
Yeah, I did notice I was at the airport coming back. Where did I just go? I went to San Francisco for an event. And I was coming back and I was at the gate and this one dude came over and he got a photo, but then he came over and you could tell that he was just sort of lingering. And then other people were like, what's going on over there? And then all of a sudden floodgates were open because it wasn't that I'm so highly recognizable. It was just more that other people were like, what's going on over there?
Right.
Who's that guy?
Right.
Oh, that dude. Oh yeah. Oh, and then
it starts to
it
copy.
just kept going until the flight boarded.
So you just signed autographs for an entire
photos. It's all selfies now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
and some signatures. But whatever. I'm sitting there. It's fine. Like it's totally cool. But I could see it happening, and I could see it start to permeate the perimeter of where I was, and I was like, oh, here we go.
That's awesome.
No, it was super cool. Like I said,
you just made so many people's days.
In that context, like I'm happy to do it. I'm there waiting for a flight, just like you. We're cool. We can connect and whatever. It's more that when we're skating and
you're trying to skate,
if someone wants to sign something, I'm like, dude, I'm really sorry, but if I do sign that, everyone else is gonna want a signature, and then my session's over.
Right.
And I'm still trying to skate.
They don't care to understand that. Not everybody, but some people don't care.
But most people are pretty cool about it. The selfie thing, I mean, this all happened before COVID, but the selfie thing of when you're doing demos has become such a crazy thing. Like standing on the deck of a skate, to drop in, and then all of a sudden camera is right here in front of you. Like,
wait, on the deck?
Like if you're at a skate park or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And it's a whole thing that became like, I remember one year that wasn't happening, and next year it was in everything.
It's this thing.
Yeah, but you're facing, right? So you're like waiting to go, and all of a sudden the camera just gets right in front of you, like, yeah, woo. And then another one comes over here,
and you can't drop in.
You got to drop in through the gauntlet of selfies.
Holy shit! But
I just say it like it's something that happened overnight, and it was kind of fascinating to watch.
Kind of fascinating,
but also, I liked it better because trying to sign stuff is time consuming, especially in those.
You like it better?
Well, it just because they feel like they got something with you, of you.
It's better, kind of.
And so it's like, yeah, cool. Selfies are not flattering.
I would way rather a photo of me and Brad Pitt than a Brad Pitt's autograph.
Yes.
It's way cooler.
Yeah. So I'm happy to do it. And yeah, if you catch me outside, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, outside. Didn't think I'd hear you say that one. I'm happy to know that you're out there making people's days, because it really does. It makes people's day.
Oh, hey, I mean, I'm just so thankful that I still do this for a living, that I'm even considered relevant or recognized. And so when I'm out and about, dude, let's high five. And we're finally out and about.
One time, a friend of mine at the airport asked Tiger Woods for an autograph, and Tiger Woods said, "You better get me while I'm going." And I was like, "Dick." That's all it takes.
You were there with him?
No, when he told me the story, I was like,
I know. I've heard that story.
Yeah, I'm like, you're a dick.
Yep.
Like, you're in the airport, fucking let him take. I know Colin. He's not like, bah. He would have said, "Hey, man, can I take a photo?" And you were like, "Man, get me while I'm going." Like, you dickhead. Just stop for the guy. Whatever. Each to their own.
I have been rushing to catch flights, and I've had to use a line kind of like that. Because it was like, oh, hey, man, yeah, man, if you can come with me, like come move with me, we'll do it.
Right. Which is
totally
cool.
And sometimes they're like
they don't have their shit ready.
That doesn't register, and they're just like, oh.
Which is cool too. I've done that one where it's like, wait, I don't have the phone to make it.
There is a thing that people do.
If you don't have the phone to make it,
but there is a thing that people do too, where it's just like, they're over here, and they're like, yo, man, can I get a photo? Yes.
Oh, go over there to
yes,
them.
and it's just expected, like, well, you're going to come to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm over here, and you want the photo? That seems like...
No.
The etiquette would seem like you'd come over here.
One time on the big day out, Colin, again, this time I was standing there, asked Marilyn Manson for an autograph, and he said that he had too many drugs and women to have sex with. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool answer. I didn't know at the time that he was a steaming pile of shit.
What does that mean?
He's like, yeah, hey, Manson, can I get an autograph? And he was like, too many drugs to take, too many women to fuck. And just walked out the door. And I was like, he's probably not lying. So I remember looking at Colin.
Wow.
Like, he was pretty, He probably.
I mean, that's a clever line.
He's probably going to do drugs.
Yeah.
He sucks.
All right. Anyway,
he reached out to me the other day.
Really?
Yeah, he reaches out to me every now and then when I think nobody likes him anymore, and he's like,
"Did you tell him that story?"
Nah, I don't talk to him anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't reply, which is a bummer, but it's also that's what you get.
It's your prerogative.
That's right. Thanks everybody for listening. If you DM me,
that was an abrupt ending.
I don't know. Look, if you
hey, you're here for minutes. We're getting kickflip indies. The next show, someone's gonna get one.
It's not someone. We're fucking both doing it. Don't someone some shit, all right? You and I are making it. I was almost tempted to drop in next year and do it like we'll both make it and run into each other.
Yeah, that would not bode well for me.
Oh yeah, I just realized good point.
All right.
See you next week, everybody. Like and subscribe.
Please.